Hi, long time no see, my bro. Finally, social isolation is ended.
Hi to Anh. It was lovely meeting you. Have you finished book I lent you last month?
Well, sorry, I can't remember what book you're talking about.
Are you kidding? Silent Spring of Rachel Carson, of course. The books are documented the detrimental effects on the environment, particularly on birds. Also, indiscriminate use of pesticides. You said that you wanted to take up some new pet book, and I recommend this non-fiction book for you.
I have just finished this for weeks. The book is remarkable. Where did you get that from?
I came across this book when searching for books about detrimental effects on the environment of pesticides.
Sounds good. Oh, I have just found some information about the author. You want to know?
Oh, why not? I'm really willing to.
Let me introduce the author, Rachel Carson. Her full name is Rachel Louise Carson. She was born in a Pennsylvania farm, which gave her lots of first-hand knowledge of nature and wildlife. She graduated from Pennsylvania College for Women, now is Chatham College, in 1929, and went on further study at Johns Hopkins University. Rachel Carson was an American biologist well known for her writing on environmental pollution and the natural history of the sea.
Also, her book became one of the most influential books in the modern environmental movement and provided an impetus for title control of pesticides, including DDT. Do you know that the impetus for Silent Spring was a letter written in January 1958 by Carson Friend, describing the death of birds around her property resulting from the annual spraying of DDT to kill mosquitoes? So Carson later wrote that this letter prompted her to study the environmental problems caused by the chemical pesticides.
Wow, Jesus! Now you look like a real expert. You must have researched carefully, right?
Thanks. So, do you have any comments after reading the book? I think it is brilliantly written, clear, controlled, and with confident poetic flourish that suddenly illuminate page of cool exposition.
Well, that is true, bro. We just expected you find fascinating.
Let me see. From my view, the opening of the book is written in a judicious way. Judicious way. The author smoothly writes the book with a full emotional feelings. A lovely American town in the spring leaves in agreement with the fields of grain, the white mist on the sky, the sound of bright source of creature. Not very long, that allowing towards me. When she depicted a peaceful environment, she quickly returned to the scene of death, still the similar town, that it was placed in alarming quiet atmosphere. The contrast highlights the reality and that directly affects my curiosity. The author understanding is great too. As it is a scientific book, it requires the essay to prepare an enormous measure of information. That's why it will not be able to convince reader and easily cause cognitive distortion.
Yeah, I have agreed with you about that. The book is full of knowledge, but actually I found some drawbacks while reading that book. I'm not against it, but in some case, Silent Spring was considered to be a poor science, and Carson asserted that DDT was undermining numerous advanced species with inevitable annihilations. Her proof for this with that is May was episodic and unwarranted. Indeed, during the time the far-reaching DDT utilized going before the distribution of Silent Spring, Fledgling's populace in the United States expanded altogether, likely because of the pesticide consumption of the creepy chlorine illness, vectors, and parasites. And some upper assertions were inappropriate as well.
Don't really what to say, but it sounds convincing.
Yeah, and moreover, I found that Silent Spring a bit extreme, and it seems that Mr. Carson's is a worshipper of natural products, and besides, they were blamed for being less level-headed, more enthusiastic, and more nostalgic than men. It tends to be seen that she was not on the ambient side. However, that demonstrates things she considered correct. In this perspective, I don't support her anyway.
Oh, but I think it didn't cause any negative effects on practice, Overall, the purpose of the book is aiming at its strongest point. You can see, the book is a reminder to the work agriculture. The book clarifies how concussions pesticide work, what's their downside are, and how we can ensure drops in better, increasingly maintainable ways. Until now, the book is still holds the relative values.
Oh yeah, you're right. On the whole, the merits outweigh the drawbacks.
Yes, of course. And this was a profoundly important book. It has earned a sure place in history, and is a reminder that completion is a dangerous state, and that all human commerce has consequences that must be considered carefully, and watchfully is democracy's surest defense.
That sounds amazing. And yeah, you know what? After reading the book, I can jump to the conclusion that the lessons one is the principle with seals with pesticide is that they don't target pet only. It means humankind acquired pesticide from World War II, right? During the war, researchers associated with compound fighting found numerous substances with which to execute foes. At the point when the war finished, upon perceptions, those equivalent substances were deadly, not exclusively to people, yet in addition to periclorize and some other agrarian irritations. Thus, from the start, utilizing synthetic compounds appeared to be an extraordinary method to ensure crops, but since pesticides turned out to be all the more generally utilized, some numerous examinations were done which demonstrate that the vast majority of the concussion substances has various damaging reactions.
Yeah, more importantly, Ms. Carson states that DDT can hurt individuals even without direct presentation. If you couldn't care less much about us living beings on the planet, you could positively be worried to discover that pesticide discovered a route into our own body. But how is this conceivable? You mean why? On of the chance that you are not a rancher or experience different types of direct introduction to the synthetic compounds, you may feel that you are protected.
Yeah, and after I can figure out the dangers of pesticides, I think we need more trainings and other conditions well-disposed approach to the safe with crops. And with all data we have about the destructive impacts of using pesticide, we can't stand to carry on as though we didn't have the foggiest idea. We know one serious cut, and we have known it for over 50 years. At any rate, since Silent Spring was distributed, so in what manner can we progressively leave the construction crop security? How would we ensure that we put enough considerations and decision into saving our regular habitat? Am I right?
Yeah, I can't agree anymore. We have much time to garden for a powerful green movement, an awareness that we cannot punish our wildlife indiscriminately, and an understanding that the fragility of nature food chain. She died before she could see any sustained results from her work on this issue, but she left behind some of the most influential environmental writing ever published. 10 years after her death, the production of DDT and its use in agriculture was banned in the US. Britain officially banned its use some years later. So the farmer needs to know both sides of pesticides and herbicides to save not only the world but also human beings. From my view, in Vietnam, the use of these synthetic chemicals is really unsystematic.
Well, I cannot agree more. The negative impacts of chemical products are inevitable, but unfortunately, some Vietnamese farmers are abusing chemical pesticide and fertilizer. My mother complained that Vietnamese food now is getting unhealthy. Although the death rate of poultry was not considerable, the rate of individuals suffering from cancer in Vietnam is rising promptly. The food we are using is daily killing us.
Oh, don't worry about that, Thuy Anh. No, the food now are toxic, So you should be an alert consumer or oh, I have an idea. You can grow healthy food by yourself. There are some types of vegetables that you can grow at home. Moreover, you are able to control using a fertilizer on the crops. It is better to use green manure or something like that instead of chemical fertilizer, right?
Growing food by myself? Well, I think that's a good idea. Why did I figure it out so no? Oh, I'll go home and discover my mom and try it out. Thank you so much for giving me advice.
Anytime. Oh, I have to go home now, so goodbye. And I will be very happy to get a good result from the gun.
Okay, bye.
See you.